Good evening. Through the prayers of Holy Fathers of Jesus Christ, for God have mercy on us and save us. For those new here, my name is Father Joseph Swade, and I've worked in Orthodox Apologetics since 1998, and I'm the founder of NFTU, True Orthodox and Ecumenical News, since 2004. We've been in the apologetic space on Facebook since 2016 and on YouTube since 2018. And if you appreciate what we do here, please like and subscribe. Today, we do our live Q&A session where you can get your questions answered live, as well as member-requested video reviews. So let's get started. And as always, if you want to jump on stream to ask a question or make a comment, just click a link at the top of the chat. I will be taking super chats from the YouTube chat. If you want your question or comment without super chatting, I'll answer it, but you might miss it if I don't put it up. So let's see what's going on here. And so, good evening. Good evening, Father Antonios. Hi, Ascender. Enjoy your meal. I am trying to figure out how to get this ridiculous. I thought I destroyed the whiteboard, but it seems like it won't go away. So, I'm going to try to see what I can do here and see if that helps. I don't know that it will. But today is our live Q&A. I mean, what do I do with this whiteboard? I don't understand. I don't know how to get rid of it. Let me see here. But as I mentioned, today we answer questions, comments, etc. Debate challenges, so on and so forth. I am trying to figure this one out, and I'm having a terrible job of it. Let me see here. Okay, there's the whiteboard. Now I want to unpin it, and I want to hide it. Did that work? Let me see here. And we're just waiting now. Nope. Okay. So I'm not seeing anything here. As always, we do our best to answer questions and comments about the Orthodox faith. I'm not even sure how to get this thing off or what to do. It's, if you can see from my perspective, I wonder if I can just share this. Let me see here. What happens if I share? Okay, I can't actually do that. Was worth a shot though. Let's see here. So if you have questions or comments about no, Cole. Okay, Cole asks, would you want to debate Agin? He is Coptic. He said he would if you are willing. I think almost all of the monophysites that are prominent on social media, the lay apologists, already know that I have denied all of them. And once again, I am going to explain my reasoning. Officially, the Coptic and Monophysite churches do hold to the idea that not only do the Chalcedonian churches have grace, but that they are single churches with them, and there is limited communion. Those are their official positions. So from my perspective, if you were talking about this is kind of weird. Give me a second. If you were talking about, like, say for example, we're talking about the actual theology behind the Coptic approach or the Orthodox approach. The problem is that because it's not an actual official discussion, it's really just a contest to see who's a better rhetorician. If their official position is that they do in fact recognize the Chalcedonian Ecumenists, then there's no point in having a discussion unless they're willing to reject that position. Because if they do, if they don't reject that position, then they're not being totally honest either, Cole. I hope that makes sense. But I'm not going to debate someone on the merits of just for the fun of it. It looks like someone's here. Give me a second. Let me see here. No, Okay, not yet. Anyone can jump on just by clicking on the link in the chat. I really wish that there was some way I could actually see anything because of this whiteboard that I can't seem to get rid of. Let me see what happens here. What if I leave and come back? Then what? Well, then I might ruin the stream. I have no idea. Let's take a look here. And Cole says, do you have a link for their official position? I'd love to send that to him. You can literally, those things are like very public. I believe there's actually an entire website devoted to them. Hold on one moment. Let me see here. Okay, this is all like abstract. Where's the Joint Commission? Okay, I'm trying to see if I can find the sources for you. That would be the easiest way to do that. And it doesn't look like I'm finding them easily, but I will have to use a different search engine. So, give me just a moment. Okay, let's see here. Agreed statements. I have them here, but this isn't what I want. There's an actual website devoted to the intercommunion between these people. And that is, I think probably okay, Orthodox Joint Commission .wordpress.com. Let me just copy that and I will put that in the chat. And so yeah, the idea that in some way, shape, or form. You know what? I'm going to put this on the screen instead. So let's see here. This is the website, and here's that link, Cole. It's in the chat. Good evening to everyone else who's come in. Father Boniface, good evening. I am still trying to get some. There's the whiteboard again. I don't, and if I take it off, the whiteboard comes back. There's no way to shut off the whiteboard completely. Let me see something here. Because I am not sure why the whiteboard will not shut off. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, so I still haven't seen a way to shut off the whiteboard. So we've got whiteboards left and right. The whole point is that any attempt at a debate with a monophysite, therefore, is dishonest in its origins. This is partially why I specifically said I will debate their priests. We will debate their bishops, because those people have a role in protecting what is the official document, what is the official doctrine, or making a change accordingly. Lay people's opinions, especially in the age of the diorites, can be just totally made up. It's worthless. You can't argue with a person making up their opinion. Yeah, this is the agreement of it's with the Antiochians. If on this website, there's the one with the Copts, there's the ones with the Syro-Jacobites. So, it's a whole website devoted to the love and communion between these two churches. So definitely worth taking a look, because it's stupid to argue with people who already claim and truly they want to sound like they believe the same things as you. If that's the case, well, what's the point? Let me see here. Okay, and I am looking in. This apparently has a dial-in feature, which I think is very interesting. Let me see here. Maybe this is something that will help. No. Yep. Okay. Checking here. Wait. I am still learning how to use Jitsi, but as you can see, I am far from an expert because I do not have a clue as to what I'm doing. So I'm going to put back the chat on the screen. And so we'll keep that. Ultimately, I doubt most people come here for my face anyway. They come here to get answers to questions. So let's work with that. Sunrise says, Father, what do you think about concerts? I used to go as many as I could. Now I don't go to any. Do you think is some force at work at a lot of concerts? Some have obvious evil things, but others not. I'm not really sure why people love asking me the music question. Um, because I give a very odd answer. If you want to understand what the fathers teach very clearly is that all secular music, no matter what, in general, is a waste of time at best and a distraction from the true music of the church. And it can be far worse. It can obviously have other problems with it, etc. That is the straightforward patristic position. There's no deviation from this. I want to make that abundantly clear. And there's a reason I want to make that abundantly clear. I have seen among many trads, etc., there is a condemnation of hip hop music, or a condemnation of jazz music, or a condemnation of rock music, or a condemnation of, but then when you start to unravel what they're saying, then all of a sudden, I like folk, I like Enya, I like classical. None of these were okay with the fathers. The fact that the fathers said that secular music is bad doesn't allow you to employ some sort of classism where you have a right to music and other people don't. That said, there are evil forces in music, and people should pay attention to things like the words. This is a good reason why I despise the Beatles and John Lennon, because a lot of the things they are saying are evil in a very nice, smooth way. Unfortunately, that's true with a lot of popular music as well. So that's what I got to say about it. Unfortunately, when it comes to the question of concerts, I would say follow your conscience. But more importantly, if you know that some concerts are already problematic and you stopped going, that's your conscience talking, and keep using it. You may find yourself not going to as many concerts or any, if at all. It just depends. Some people have a life, where they work, as musicians. That may or may not be for you. But what you can't do, and what I really honestly stress that you shouldn't do, is unless you are getting rid of all music whatsoever, except for the church chant, don't bring up the fathers to say someone else's music is bad. Because all of the music outside of the chant is to some degree bad. And so let me see here. Black Ortho Acolyte says, could you clarify what the Sigilon of 1583 against the calendar innovation of the Latins is? Also, if it's a forgery, what does that mean and not mean in regards to the calendar being condemned? The Sigilon of 1583, it's debated as to whether it was a forgery or a really bad copy. With some interpolations in it, in which case it wouldn't be a forgery, but the whole point is it was one of 3 pan-Orthodox councils held within 10 years, which all condemned the papal calendar. I really hesitate to use the term forgery. That was a term that was kind of picked up on in the 90s, and it's been used like a drone. It is the Sigilon of 1583 is part of the tradition of the church. The Council of 1583 that produced it is recognized as a council of the church. So it's crazy stuff. Orthodox Wasna says, I used to go to metal shows all the time. let me see here. I'm trying to see if I can put this live. I cannot put the, you know what? I wonder if there is a way to put this live. I used to go to metal shows all the time before I became Orthodox. I stopped listening to metal music for the most part and don't go to shows. And sometimes that is what people will do. I'm not going to make a judgment, unless you're like listening to stuff that's like openly satanic. I mean, I can't be like everyone's music reviewer and judge. That's just not how it works. And I think that what happens is, and I certainly am not saying this about you, Lester, because I don't know your own life, but many people, when they realize they want to give up on some of that music, they feel everyone else has to and should also. But what I'm saying is we cannot cite the fathers in our defense unless we've gotten rid of all music, all secular music, not just metal or jazz or something, but like classical. And even there was ancient secular music. When St. John Chrysostom condemns popular music, it's a real term he was using then. And so that is, it was also bad. We would listen to it and we would say that's like ancient and deep. No, the fathers would have said that's garbage. So that's something to keep in mind. Sunrise says, same here, Orthodox whilst I can't do the harsh vocals or screaming at all anymore. Let me see here. Heather Kelly says, I used to listen to rock and roll a lot, but since I've repented, it's been 16 years, don't listen to it. Orthodox was, I just like listening to Orthodox talks, lectures, homilies, etc. instead. Well, that's fine. And so Sunrise says, I hope it didn't seem like I was trying to make a broad judgment, Father. I was just asking about concerts specifically because I didn't know the Saints' teachings on it. Well, I mean, the simple reality is the fathers are not big on parties. They're not big on, they're not big on huge gatherings. They're big on feasts. Weddings that are done in sobriety, they're big fans of. They certainly don't like the dances. Their focus is on prayer and holiness. And ideally, that would be all our focus, but we are human. So if I have to be the awful person to say that it is unfortunately a part of normal life that people are going to choose to do some of these things, and that doesn't necessarily make them evil, that's not giving it patristic sanction. There are, if you take Father Seraphim Rose's example, he used Father Seraphim of Platina's example. He often recommended classical music to people as a way of increasing their ability to improve their listening skills, so on and so forth, and appreciate the simplicity of certain classical pieces or even the complexity of them. But the point is, there was a means to an end there. He wasn't actually simply saying you should listen to classical. That's not what he was using it as a spiritual technique. And when you look at it that way, you really can do that with anything that's not outright evil if you know what you're doing, if you're familiar with it. And so this is where I myself am, my concern is I hear it all the time. Like literally, I hear the music question probably once a month. But it's always approached in the matter of, I stopped listening to this music, or, there's the fathers aren't okaying a different kind of music. They okay chants. That's it. And so, when this is, it's, I guess I'll say it's kind of a pseudo patristic kind of attitude, and it's not patristic, which is why I say pseudo. We have to, one thing that I do want to make clear is that when we talk about ourselves, we of course have to express ourselves as sinners, but there's a way of expressing yourself as a sinner where it doesn't sound haughty and arrogant, and like what you're really saying is, I'm a saint playing a sinner. And it's one of those mind messes that I'm talking about here, because really people are going to ask themselves, well, am I saying this in humility? And unfortunately, you actually should do that all the time. People love beating on their chest and saying, I'm a miserable sinner. And what ends up happening is that they are so, they sound so, I hate to say this, but fake. It doesn't even sound believable. So, yeah, no, Sunrise, I didn't judge you personally. All I'm saying is that this is kind of, it's a problem we've seen among converts. And I'm not just saying now. It's not even a now thing. This is 30 years old. I dealt with this stuff. I was on the other end of it. I was the person listening to music as a young person, a young man, and I dealt with that. I dealt with people from lay people to even clergy who would have a lot to say about the music that was popular, or even the music that I was listening to. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hi. Hold on. Let me add you. Hold on. I got to figure out how to do that. Click on this, and we'll pin you there. And let me see what happens on the stream. Okay. Ascender, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Father.
Okay, you're there. And let me unshare the screen and see if it pops us both up. Uh-huh. And now I'm going to unshare and see what happens. Okay, so how are you doing today? May God bless you.
All right, I guess. How are you, Father?
I'm gonna be honest. I am extremely tired. I am actually very stressed out. Yep, the whiteboard is still there. I've been stressed out by a few things. I have to work on the book. Obviously, I have a debate that is coming up on the 26th of November. I really, really want to get rid of this whiteboard. It drives me nuts. It's like it's taking up most of the screen. What if I do that? Will that make a difference? I doubt it. But let's see. And so let's see here. Okay. All right. So what was your question, Sunrise? Not Sunrise. Excuse me, Ascender.
Well, I didn't really have one as such. I just wanted to jump on the screen for the first time.
Okay.
You guys were talking about music, which is quite the subject for Orthodox because it's like the assumption that people have in this day and age is that everything is okay, but not according to the fathers.
Here we go. I agree. However, um, it has never been going well according to the fathers. The world, by its nature, is fallen, and
Right?
so it has been fallen since the fall of Adam. So there's one thing I do want to clarify, and I've said this before, is that um, the fact that pop music has been a distraction for thousands of years, and the fact that certain evil forms of music have existed for a very long time, that we see them now isn't exactly like it's not a proof of any change in the age, if that makes sense. Does
I
that make
think
sense?
somewhere in the life of Saint Mary of Egypt, there's something about how when she was a sinner in the world, she was listening to like some kind of percussive music that they played.
I think
That
that
one always stuck with me.
I think Saint Mary had a lot more problems in the world
That's
than
for sure,
percussive
but yeah,
music.
but that
Yeah.
was I think that was in there.
Well, yeah, and I don't doubt it, because
And
I mean,
and
I hate to say this, but there's in places where there are prostitutes, etc., bars, etc., there's usually music. There's that percussive music is common. So
Yeah, and I think probably all the stuff that's like Greek folk dancing in previous generations, it might have been more linked to overt sin than it is now, where it's just an ethnic like thing that they do.
well, yeah, but you see, the fathers didn't make that distinction. That's my
Right.
point. They didn't suddenly say
Right.
this is now culture. That didn't happen. So one thing
I
that
know, and it's really difficult for me.
I believe it. Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but my solution is, for me personally, is that I accept that I'm a fallen person and I just try to do my best to discern in terms of what I'm listening to. But
Yeah,
I do not give myself the illusion that I've transcended anything, because the only way to do that is to give up on music altogether and focus on the chant of the church, which
yeah,
I'm
and
not
then I think,
recommending for anyone. I don't, that's not my job.
and if I'm not mistaken, a hesychast monastic doesn't even have the chant part really. It's just like prayer of the heart.
No, whoever told you that lied. Hesychast would show up to the services. No,
Right.
there's no
Okay.
such thing as a hesychast, especially on Athos, who wasn't going to the services.
Yeah, you're right.
Even the ones that they stayed in their own cells eventually built a chapel where they would do the services. Like there is no hesychastic Christianity apart from the mysteries.
Yeah, you'll have to forgive me for at one time giving into the silly rumor, which is just not true, that some of the hesychasts didn't like they had an almost what's the word I'm looking for? Was it mycelium or something like that?
Mhm.
But I thought that was real, but it's not.
You know what it is? I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'll tell you what it really is, and it may bother some people that I say this, but what it comes down to is there's a lot of people learning about orthodoxy on the internet, and there's a lot of people
Sure.
who, when they want to learn about orthodoxy on the internet, go to the most advanced and difficult books, like the Philokalia, so on and so forth, that are really meant for people with a good deal of experience. Um, but they read through these, and I think I might have talked. I don't know if it was you about this, but it's like reading a book about martial arts, but never actually practicing martial
That was
arts.
with me. That
Yeah.
was with me. Yeah.
The point is, so what happens is a form of prelest, really, where people begin to read in these fathers and start thinking that's me, and instead they don't realize that the lived experience of a hesychast is very different from a guy reading a book over and over, and so they become certain, since many of the hesychastic fathers don't even talk about when they receive the mysteries. It doesn't come up in many of these texts. They just assume that they don't receive them, and that's not reality. So that's not, it's the unfortunate that's been around since the internet, because when people are reading the books in isolation from the experience of the church, that can kind of happen. It was a priest who told me when I was first catechumen, the first thing he warned me about was stuff like that. And he said, what happens is a lot of converts, they go right towards the hardest books, and they're reading the Philokalia in their comfortable couch with a hamburger on the side. And they think they've reached the heights of, they think they've reached the noetic heights. And
Yeah.
so that's
As far as the
unfortunately,
Philokalia,
yeah.
I didn't think I reached the noetic heights, but I still didn't have the humility to say I can't read that. I still wanted to.
Yeah, well, and this is unfortunately, this is, again, a lot of it is the fault of the age where we deal with. There's a lot of pop philosophy that's out there, and this is really sad, in that people begin to conflate philosophy with theology. There is a very
Yeah.
sad case of a guy who apparently was part of a certain YouTuber's, World Orthodox YouTuber philosophy guy's cult, and he ended up, because he never truly abandoned, as I learned in his thing, perennialism. You vanished, Descender. I'm not sure what happened.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so he
Back.
apparently was some kind of perennialist, and as you know, that's just a fancy way of saying a humanist. But he got talked into it because fun philosophy chats, and he ended up becoming Orthodox for a few years, but under this guise of perennialism. He began to start thinking that Orthodoxy was the best way to
I'm
achieve.
sorry. This is bringing me down memory lane. Are we talking about this one young guy called Trey? Is that him?
I don't know. Oh, Reader John, welcome.
A channel called Telos.
Huh?
They have a very modernist philosophical approach to it, and
I think
he's young.
he has a
really
YouTube
shouldn't be
channel.
teaching.
He's not that young.
Yeah. Okay.
He has a YouTube channel, and I think he refers to himself as like an ex-Christian Gnostic or something. But in any case, the point is that for him, because of his reading of these texts, his assumption was that uh, everything was simply about the physical experience of union with God, whether that be through the Jesus prayer, whether that be through the Eucharist, and then eventually became, why does it have to be both? Why can't it be either or? And why do I need the Jesus prayer at all if I can get the same feeling off of saying Hindu prayers? And it began to, the reductionism of what he was saying indicated that he had never really truly understood any of the stuff he had read to begin with. So on the one hand, at the very least, you're able to say, maybe I don't fully understand it now. You're miles ahead of a person who formally comprehends the words but doesn't understand the spirit behind them.
Well, I've come to understand that Orthodoxy cannot be apart from the mysteries.
Correct.
That's the touchstone there. Nope. No ifs, ands, or buts.
That is correct. And that doesn't mean that everyone can get to the mysteries every week. It's not that, in many cases, that's not realistic, but it's what we aspire to as often as we can. And so that is, the goal there. But this is something that is lost on a lot of people. So how are you doing today, Reader John?
I'm tired.
I know the feeling. Today I had a whole new problem. Not only am I, I'm working on the book, I'm working on helping people in different places and on different fora, etc., because that's my job as, guy on internet. But
You mean priest on internet?
Priest on internet, yes. Priest on internet is that me. The point is that I about 5 days ago, my car, the engine began just simply overheating.
Oh.
And I was like, why is this happening? So at first I checked the dipstick to see maybe there's an issue there. The engine oil is gone. Now I changed the engine oil like a month ago. I had it changed. So then I was like, okay. So I tried a bunch of things. I tried coolant. I tried engine oil. It's been 5 days now. The car is going to have to go in the shop. So it's just another stressor. And my mother-in-law is in the hospital. And so just everything is just crazy. So yeah, I'm pretty mentally exhausted myself. But I do have a book to write. I do have at least one debate to do. And, that's we do what we can do.
Where to God?
Personally, debating Roman Catholics is something I would dread. But
why?
I'm not you, Father. I don't know.
Why?
I'm so far past thinking the papal system is something valid that it's just like, do I have to?
Right. Well, the reason I do that is because it is still the largest sect in the world. So there's a lot of people listening who are convinced of this faulty system. Our job as Orthodox apologists is to reveal the truth, expound upon the truth, and help people find the truth. And that's a large number of people who need to find the truth.
Well, apologetics is just a fancy way of saying confession of faith.
Exactly.
We're all meant to confess our faith. That's in the
and
scriptures.
They say that Orthodox are disorganized. They say that it's inconsistent.
Well, this is true. Well, no, we're definitely disorganized.
Yeah, we own that. We can own that. You don't have the fact. There used to be a bumper sticker. This is showing my age here, but there used to be a bumper sticker like 20 years ago, and it said, "I'm not part of organized religion. I'm Eastern Orthodox." And so,
since 33 AD.
Exactly. So the point is, like, that's a feature.
It's not a bug. It's a feature.
Exactly, because And this is something that I've discussed with Roman Catholic apologists, and I've said that I've pointed out that that's actually a positive thing, because that decentralization, that disorganization, is what protects the church, and how the Holy Spirit uses that disorganization to protect the church when heresies attack, because it allows the people to have a living enough conscience that they're not terrified if they see, the great hierarchical schema and the giant cathedral proclaiming a heresy. Their conscience is still strong enough to say that's wrong. And that's the conscience of the people, and that's part of how the Holy Spirit preserves the church.
It's too bad, though, that on the new calendar, pews and organs and stuff can creep in.
Well, the simple reality is the organs are bad. Yeah. There are chairs in Greece, and chairs don't make or break the faith of a place. Even in most of our churches, our traditional churches, we have benches on the sides for the older people. So, even if there are no chairs, there's always some seating.
They're never in the center.
Yeah, it's never in the center because that's a practical issue. Quite frankly, it makes it difficult for the priests to move, for the clergy to move when they're doing the entrances. Along with it, makes it harder for the people to move. So it's not even that there's something condemnable about it. It's just that it's such a terrible idea in terms of practice. It just makes things worse. Like it's just it's an aesthetic but very big aesthetic consideration.
Well, and if you have the Pantocrator looking down from the dome, you don't want him to see a pew.
Yeah. And so, let's see here. Let's see if we have any more questions in the chat. Oh, we got a whole bunch of stuff here. Let's see what we got here. Good evening, Father. So Daniel Langlois says, someone sent me the title True Orthodox Debunked. Have you seen it? Yeah, so I've already debunked it. Thank you, Orthodox Traditionalist Publications. You already did years ago. I can't get rid of the screen. I can't get rid of the white screen. I don't know why.
So when I logged into the app version of it, the whiteboard pops up, but at least in this version of the app, there's a close button in the upper left-hand corner.
Well, yeah, but I've closed it like 4 times. Like
it keeps popping back up.
Yeah, like watch this. Look, I'll just show the whiteboard, and now the close button. Where is the close button? Let me see here.
Upper left, maybe.
So I'm just curious, what was the problem with StreamYard?
It became a lot more expensive, like $45 a month. Okay,
that's a lot.
I'm gonna unpin it.
Is Jitsi free or something? Is that the benefit?
Jitsi is free.
It's open source.
Oh well, that's free and open source. That's a good reason to use it. I mean, but it's still going to have some technical issues. I don't know what the whiteboard thing is like. Why you can't just click out of that.
Jitsi Meet is actually for like video conferencing for like meetings.
Yeah,
it's not really meant to be a StreamYard, but you can make it that way. Except the stupid whiteboard won't go away.
I wonder if I can share this screen instead. Let me just try that. I know I've tried it before, but I'm going to try it again. Let me see here.
You're hosting it on the desktop, right?
Yeah. Okay. I don't see it. I think it's not listed because it is. No, that's not it. Okay. I have another idea. If you guys can give me just a second, I'm going to back out while you guys are on the call and then try to come back in.
Alrighty.
Let me see if that'll fix it.
Still there? Uh-oh.
Hello?
Hello?
I can hear you, John.
I can hear you. The question is, are we still alive?
That is a good question. Father Joseph Sweden is back on.
He's back.
Well, what does the stream look like now?
I don't know. That's what we're seeing if we're still alive.
I'm on my phone, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
I just see our tiles.
like above the icon of a sender, right-click that and see if you can unpin it. Well, here's the weird part of this, Jonathan. You're not going to believe me when I say this, but on our screen, okay, here's whiteboard. All right, it says pin to stage or hide whiteboard. Those are the options. Now I'm going to try to hide the whiteboard.
Do it.
But I don't think I hope it works. But let me see here. And it's still there.
That's strange.
Literally,
Yeah,
there's four. I see four tiles: me, Father Joseph, Reader John, and then one that says whiteboard.
How do you see one that says whiteboard? I shut off my whiteboard.
Well,
No, I see
I
it
don't
too.
know, but it just says whiteboard.
Can you guys click on your whiteboards, like in that little three dots, and see if you can remove the whiteboard or hide it or unpin it?
I don't know.
There's an option to either show whiteboard or hide it, and I just see the whiteboard with the controls.
Wow. Okay. I guess try to hide it.
I guess that's probably gonna always be there if you use Jitsi because it's for meetings, you know.
It's not letting us interact with it, or at least not me.
There's got to be some way to get rid of the whiteboard. But in any case, all right. Let me see if let's get to questions while we're at it. Let's see here.
Oh, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it is. Papist got Luce now. Yeah, how's that working out for them? Let me see here if there was anything else. Yeah, I'm really sorry about the cool white screen. I'm going to switch this over to the chat because at the very least, I don't want that on the screen. So let me screen share this. Let me screen share the Afrosinos Cafe chat. So at least there's something interesting there. If you want to jump on the Afrosinos Cafe chat and put your comment on the screen, you can do that. Let me see here. Someone asked about the weather. It's starting to get cold. Let me see here. By the way, Jonathan, the button on the very top left is save whiteboard as image. It's not a kill button.
I wish it was a kill button.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Wait, is someone else here? Let's find out. Okay, let me put up the thing. No,
so that's strange.
Well, it looks like a sender vanished. So,
yeah, he did.
Okay, well, nice time. Is he back? Yeah, he's back.
The screen keeps changing though.
The screen keeps changing, but no one can see this screen, which is driving me nuts. I can't figure out why I can't, make this happen.
Does it switch when somebody change? Like when I start speaking, does it highlight me, and then when you start speaking, it highlights you?
It does on our conference, but not on the screen.
Oh, okay.
So this is so bizarre. Let me see here. Let's get back to the stream questions. Hey, a super chat. Thank you, Black Ortho Acolyte 999. Much appreciated. Let's read this question. What are your thoughts on people believing the influx of conservative youth to the new calendar churches will be the bishops of the future and fix things from within?
Slim to none.
Yeah, I would say that it's more likely that what will happen as we approach this high information period, and we are already in that high information period, I think it's more likely they'll join True Orthodox than it is that they'll fix the situation. Because it's just a question of who's going to get a hold of the institutions. Right now, World Orthodoxy is in a state of institutional capture. We're talking about institutional recapture or replacement. While either one is possible for True Orthodox, for World Orthodox, all they have is recapture, and that's impossible so long as the system is set up as it is. Let me see here. Orthodox traditionalist says that would require current heretic bishops to not pick people who are not exactly like themselves. Exactly. There's a Haunted Umami. Has anyone seen a video of Father John Whiteford and Orthodox Kyle on how subversion happens? I think that was the title. They were talking about female deacons and U.S. intel agencies subversion. Yeah, the problem is this. with that argument is that the U.S. intelligence agencies weren't pushing for female deacons in the 1960s. However, people in the World Council of Churches were. So the point is, at some point, we have to stop saying it's all a Fed psyop, and we have to realize what people are really doing on their own by decision of their own. Sunrise EQ.
Does Father John Whiteford actually agree that bishops are, ecumenists, that they're doing the wrong thing, or does he kind of?
I think he used to be very harsh against them, especially Patrick Bartholomew.
Used to be, because before 2007, ROCOR wasn't World Orthodoxy.
Yeah, exactly. And so something changed along the way for him, but it's he's one of the people I have been talking to. I know that Craig and Father John want to do another discussion on true orthodoxy. I assume that they said they want to talk about all the subjects related to it, and I assume they're going to be hostile, which is fine with me. I always presume the person I'm talking to is going to be hostile. Maybe it's trauma, I don't know, but the point is that
World Orthodox PTSD.
Yeah, what can you do? Let me see here. Orthodox Rachel's
I'm always amazed by how harsh they can be with true Orthodox, because,
which I find ironic.
I would think there's some generosity that's due where they're still your brothers. They're trying to keep the faith. They're being traditional, and yet it's some of the most hostile, up to the point of what the horrible things they did in the early years of true Orthodoxy, where some people were martyred, churches destroyed, confiscated.
It's funny you mentioned that. It's like I was thinking about this the other day. You would think that the supposedly more conservative new calendarists would be more charitable.
That's what I thought.
Oh, Daniel, just real quick, I want to just say thank you, Daniel Langlois, who sent a $10 sticker with a hippo spinning in a chair. Thank you very much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. It helps out the channel a lot. And we're here to answer questions. My take on this is this. The real reason why these people are not more kind to us is because, in fact, many of them do have a memory or know that in the past they have persecuted us. And so a part of it comes from not...
but I was thinking of ROCOR before the MP specifically. Okay. Some of these people that went with the MP were in communion with true Orthodox, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were.
So they would have a very similar confession of faith, because I think they have deviated, but not that far yet. Now, when they start talking to like Antiochians, people under the ecumenical patriarch, I would say they were like light years away from them, because they've already got like intercommunion, different pastoral agreements that are in effect.
Yep.
I'm just like,
I'll be amazed if Josiah Trenum ever says there's something wrong with monophysitism. I don't think he's ever done it.
I don't think he's going to touch the subject, especially not now.
Not under his patriarch, no.
Let's
see what happens to people who say something like that under his patriarch.
Orthodox Traditionalist Publications says Haunted is Patrick was literally a KGB agent, and he's talking about that. LOL. Very true. Agent Mihailov, of course. Patriarch Kirill. Daniel Langlois says, someone asked me, if the calendar is so important, how do old calendarists explain the lack of synchronicity among the early Christians when it came to celebrating Pascha? The first thing I would say, this is an apples to oranges comparison. It's not really apples to apples. But in actual fact, this actually works to the advantage of the true Orthodox Christian.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why is because that was not something, especially with the Quartodeciman controversy, later the Celtic calendar controversy, it was not something that had been worked out in the early centuries of the church, and it was something that had variance and controversy. Mm-hmm. Overall, most of the church agreed, but there were still holdouts. And out of kindness, people, wanted to let them keep those things or grandfather them in.
Well, the claim wasn't the claim that it was a teaching from the Apostle John, right?
Right. And so the point is, but the problem is this, that you can't say that they couldn't misinterpret the Apostle John. Yeah. So the point is that the fullness of the church still, in general, held that. And then finally, in the Council of Nicaea, it was decided the whole church would hold to the same single calendar. Yeah. So it was controversial enough when it was unsettled that the church as a whole had to settle it. And once it was settled, the entire church followed it, and the Celts eventually followed what the rest of the church did. So now to apply that to today, we are using the calendar that was settled for the better part of 1,700 years. Mm-hmm. Why did they change it? Why would they unsettle it? You see, in that case, the burden of proof is actually on the new calendarists to justify why they changed something that was so universally unchanged to begin with.
And then we have clear evidence of why they changed it.
Yep.
For ecumenical purposes.
Yeah.
And then the step from there is...
sorry, you talk. You were saying something. Yeah. But I was just going to say, not too long ago, I was listening to this World Orthodox priest on the internet when I still gave them a little bit more credibility, where his argument was basically, I like the new calendar, but the way they introduced it was terrible. And then from there, it was not a big step for me to wonder, well, why do you even like the new calendar? Like, why? Why change it? Why?
Yeah.
Why would you?
Let's continue in the comments. Black Ortho Acolyte says, yes, it's starting to feel similar to how all the papists were saying Cardinal Sarah was going to become Pope and fix Rome. Orthodox Traditionalist Publication says, no, they'll be hostile. They're professional spin artists. Once again, I am fully expecting them to be hostile. I assume they're going to be hostile. I assume they were going to be hostile the first time, but that's not why I want to do it. The point is, facts don't care about your emotional state. I mean, not to miscite a certain conservative guy. The point is that they can be as hostile as they want. What they can't do is change facts. Haunted Amami says, Orthodox Christians, that was what I found funny, missing the irony of speaking on Fed subverting. Sunrise says, I like your streams with Craig, but I don't know if another stream with him and Father John would lead anywhere. I don't either.
I don't know how productive that's going to be.
Well, the way I look at it is this. It's not for us, because True Orthodox in reality have to deal with such a large media machine against us. Yeah. My attitude is, it's not about how productive it is.
Well, I'm talking about for them.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't know why they want to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. It's going to...
I mean, for True Orthodoxy, because, I mean, we have confession of faith. It hasn't changed.
Yeah, so I see it as an absolute win. Yeah. Orthodox tradition.
It's free publicity if you have a debate with True Orthodox versus World Orthodox, right?
Yeah, it is. And,
somebody's going to actually try to impartially check out True Orthodoxy.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. For our Patriarch Mikhailova, for the honorable comrades. Okay, I see what you did there, Orthodox Traditions Publication. Funny stuff. Athanasios says, Father Bless, I would like to ask you about Metropolitan Petros of Astoria. Sorry for changing the conversation topic. There is no it's a Q&A show. There's no conversation topic. Who advised him against signing the Confession of 1974? I wasn't aware anyone advised him. I would probably look at the biography of Metropolitan Petros, see if you can find some information about that. Seraphim says hello. And so let me put that here. So once again, let's see here.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so
the subdeacon is on fire tonight.
Yeah, he really is. He's having fun. That the compromise says, evening, comrades.
Yes, comrade.
And so it's just it's kind of funny. what we got going on here. So let's see. And this is so sad. I'm gonna have to like redo this entire episode and just probably put like I don't know, like a video game replay or something on it. Just this is so sad. Like guys, at least change the comment. This is something that does happen with the stream when it's on Jitsi. It has like a 45-minute limit. Let me see here. So we're back with the whiteboard. And let's just let's pin back the this to the thing, and hopefully
what's the temptation for tonight?
Yeah. So let's see here. And so we're back, and it's been crazy. Let's see what we've missed. I'm sorry for people who thought that we abandoned them. We wouldn't do that. Let's see here.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, it's basically we have to do an install of this, and I don't know. It's crazy times. We noticed a couple of streams we used Restream. There is a problem with Restream, and that is most of the people who call in have technical problems calling in. Both Reader John and Father Boniface have. So let's continue on. Back here, Seraphim, I've lived in the prayers I could offer to God in much struggle. I was scandalized by my priest when he told me it's okay to go to Protestant churches, and he said that Father Seraphim Rose is an extremist. Yeah. Well, what are you going to do with that?
Let me guess, World Orthodox?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I dread it when people utter such blasphemous things. It's ridiculous.
It is. It's really sad. But this is what happens.
That's called abuse.
Orthodox Traditionalist Publication Sunrise. They announced Surgeonism as we understood it. Father John Whiteford. Okay. Let me see here. Seraphim. Anyway, I'm leaving the Alexandrian Patriarchate. I did my homework and found out that Metropolitan Demetrius' group is in Kenya together with the MP. There's even Matthewite churches in Kenya. Kenya's kind of an open it's open season.
And Uganda too, I think.
Uganda and Nigeria. So it's moving. It's moving very quickly. And
there's this great documentary about the Orthodox Christians in Nigeria that just came out.
Yeah, I actually was recommending that a couple of days ago. And the thing is, what people kind of don't realize, and this is going to be something I bring up in my book, is that even the concept, like there's no historical Alexandrian Patriarchate all over sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
That is a product of the 20th century, just like the 90% of the autocephalies in World Orthodoxy are also 20th century products.
That's news to me.
They were
I used to
never
think
over the whole
Patriarchate of Alexandria was all Africa.
No.
I thought that was historically
a very new thing.
Yep.
Well,
so so much of it's made up. You have to understand, so much of it is made up in marketing. It's been that way for a few decades.
And he's the judge of the universe too.
Yeah. Well, I thought Judge of the Universe is just an old title, but
that's an old title. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me see here. Can you put the cafe chat back up? Yes, I can, and I will do that.
For a super chat donation. Yes.
I don't wait. It says that it already has. Hold on. Stop sharing, and I'll have to start sharing again. So let's restart sharing, and we'll put the cafe back. Share. Okay, it's back up. I hope. Let's find out.
I see it.
Yep. Okay. Good. We did it. We. Hey, I think
labor of love.
Are we full screen now? Hold on a second. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to stop sharing for a sec.
So all we had to do is share the screen.
I tried that a few times. It didn't work, but let me try that. I'm going to stop sharing, and now we're going to go back to the live screen. And, I finally fixed it. Let's see if it's fixed again. But watch. If that whiteboard comes back, it's... Oh, there I am. Okay. Why don't you guys try talking now? Let's see what happens.
Glory to God.
Okay, you didn't change. Let me see if I can change that to this. Okay,
I don't care. I don't care. But I just wanted them to see something.
We finally got this fixed. We're just all right. Let's take a look and let's. Okay, there we go. Look, it's showing different people now. I don't know how it did it.
All right, don't breathe. Don't breathe.
There you are. Yeah. Wow. We got it. We finally got it. So now whoever talks will appear.
Now, do you remember how you did it?
No. All right, let's get to the questions and comments. Let's take a look here. Anyway, yep. Okay. Avoid DMP, Orthodox Traditional Publications. That's compromise exactly as Father John Whiteford understood surgeonism, not as the saints did. Can you put the cafe back up? The video froze on a question I wanted to hear.
I would love for the subdeacon to come on here and explain all that stuff.
Yeah. Seraphim says, bro, people think that because I'm 17, I don't know anything. Like, he thought I wouldn't know anything. He called me today, and I told him everything, and he just went silent. Okay. Ortho did you see the video DTC put out where it was revealed that Platina reached out to Orthodox Wisdom to have him take down Father Seraphim's talk on the Royal Path? Not surprising. That to compromise night all. Have a good night, DTC. Ortho Knight. Danglo Langlois, why did Bishop Gregory from the GOCA get defrocked? Bishop Gregory? I don't know. Which Bishop Gregory are we talking about?
Lona?
Yeah, but I don't know.
I don't know
who that is.
Or the Colorado got defrocked, but it was by
that was by Roac.
They're talking about GOC. Oh, he calls himself Junior Orthodox Church of America.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Goku.
That GOC.
The one and only. The only one you're ever going to find.
He was deposed by Roac, not by GOCA.
Yeah, he founded his GOCA independent thingy.
Yeah. So let me just see here real quick. He was defrocked by Roac. I believe it was 2005. It's still under appeal to a higher synod. Let me see here. As for Gregory of Denver, what's wrong with him, Seraphim? He is a right-wing renovationist. He's okay with removing saints from the calendar. On the plus side, he's not a name worshiper. On the minus side, he is a cult leader. He holds to a very, very almost crypto pseudo-Hellenophile stance that makes no sense at times, and he likes to rebaptize everybody. So that's...
In other words, prelest.
Yeah. So let me see here.
It's weird that he's technically Florinite, but then it says only his group has grace.
Yeah.
That's not how Metropolitan Chrysostomos ever thought about it, is it?
Right. Yeah. Give me a second here. I'm confused. Seraphim is saying, bro, can someone tell me if the group of Metropolitan Demetrius is safe for me? Orthodox Traditionalist Publication says, yes, Metropolitan is my bishop, but then he says Gregory of Denver. Gregory of Denver is not with Metropolitan Demetrius.
No, not at all.
These are not, don't go to Gregory of Denver.
All right. Gregory of Denver is his own entity, and he thinks he's the only
true Orthodox church in the world.
Yes.
Nobody
has communion with him. He has no communion with anybody.
Yeah. He rejects the toll houses. That's true.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of things. So we finally got Jitsi working the way we want. It is now showing whoever talks on the screen.
Oh, man.
Come on, guys, clap or something. This is
I'm too tired to clap.
I get it. Let me see here, and
I think it's just a time change that does it to me.
Yeah, that might be it. The time change really hit hard.
It always makes me feel hungover and in a bad mood. I wish it wasn't a thing.
I completely understand. Completely get that. Orthodox Traditionalist Publications asks, Gregory Colorado rejects toll houses? Yes, he does.
Yes.
He was a big fan of them. Sunrise said he had a big video up about it, but I can't find it now. Yeah, he rejects the toll houses. He rejects St. Augustine.
He uses the word theological.
Always.
Does he actually?
Don't get me
Never seen
started.
him do that. But,
Does he actually have what?
does he? I've never seen him actually or heard him actually use the term theologumenon.
Oh, I have.
But I've learned to be leery of people who do use it because it's always a setup for like, oh, there's all these things that are small T traditions
Well,
and it's
it's
not
actually
doctrinal.
specifically
It's
when he
just
was
your
talking
opinion.
about toll houses.
Well, I mean, toll houses are kind of an ambiguous thing. I think
They're not that
No.
in my
ambiguous.
opinion.
No, not really.
They're in the prayer books.
They're in the
They're not
liturgical text.
yeah, they're in the liturgy. They're in the liturgical text of the church. They're
It's
not
true.
ambiguous.
The liturgies they do use that term toll houses, but
If you look in the Synaxarion, you'll see saints talking about witnessing people ascend and go through them. So.
Yeah,
and that's interesting because his group has the Synaxaristes, which is the big version of the lives of the saints. Yeah, I have to wonder: did he remove that, delete that out of there? You know,
they might have. I hate to
it's
say
supposed
that.
to be there. Then why doesn't he accept it?
Renovationists, I've noticed, really don't have a problem with changing liturgical services.
Yeah,
they really don't. So
I wouldn't want to be the one who changes a liturgical service.
oh yeah, sure. Let me see here. Orthodox Traditionalist Publications does Metropolitan Jonah loves that word. I bet he does.
Oh, yes, he does.
Yeah,
he's got a million theologians.
Exactly. So Archbishop Ambrose of Mithoni is in Kenya. His church is just 48 minutes away from me. I'll go visit him soon and join him. Yeah, okay.
Glory to God. Go for it.
Glory to God. Sunrise says, no matter how absurd the idea of the toll houses may seem to our wise men, they will not escape passing through them. St. Theophan the Recluse, very true. Other John Whiteford's here. Gregory Abu Asali has all the same pet peeves that the Pantalamonites had: anti-toll houses, anti-ancient days icon, anti-St. Augustine, etc.
He's semi-hawk now, so yeah.
Yeah, he was formerly part of HTM.
He just doesn't have the name worship thing going on.
Exactly. I was going to say, correction, Hakna has gotten worse because now they are in with the name worshippers and they've taken more saints out of the calendar, including St. Jerome. So, like, if you want to have that real 1989 Hakna, you got, okay, anyway.
Was that 1986?
No, I wasn't. Not 1986. They weren't that bad then.
Okay.
Is what they actually teach or believe about name worship what falls under an anathema? I'm sorry. I need to do more research and homework on that, but I'm just it's an ambiguity for me because it's like there's a whole website that talks about how Hoffman is name worshippers, but then they say for their part that they're not actually name worshippers because
who's they?
I don't know what I'm
Hoffman
themselves.
Here,
they say they're not. Other people say they are.
I really do not. I get it. I was part of Hakna when they weren't as bad as now, but I do not understand why younger people find Hakna so attractive. They are spouting old renovationism. It's not something particularly
with
new.
a traditional veneer on it. Yeah.
With a traditional veneer on it, it's basically Shmeminism, taken to an extreme. And so, yeah, I don't find this a good thing.
Which is problematic because if you look at the journals of Schmemann before he died, he was essentially a Protestant.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's kind of, I hate to say it, but that's kind of in the way Hakna thinks these days, too.
Yeah.
But forgive me, but what I'm trying to understand is if the energies of God are God, then why isn't the name of God also an energy of God?
Because the name of God is created. It has letters and sounds and syllables. It is.
But then that's not that. But then they say that's not what they're talking about. They're not talking about
not what they're
a name
talking
on a piece
about.
of paper.
Right. No, they say, of course, that's what they say. That's what, of course, that's what they're not talking about, even though it is.
Even though it is.
Yeah, weird. Because then they'll ask the question, is an icon an energy of God? and their view is that an icon is an
No.
entity of God.
Well, there's a patristic term for it. It's called mealy mouth. They talk out both sides of their mouth.
Exactly. Uh-oh. I don't know. I'm hoping our live stream is still going.
No, I haven't heard anything yet.
Okay. Let me see here. And so let's see what else we've got here on the let's see what we got here. Do true Orthodox have Daniel Langlois says, do true Orthodox have a way to measure their growth in converts, like a census of some sort? Considering that the first census that was done among American World Orthodox was in like 1989, I'm gonna say no. There's just that's something further down the line.
Well, what's the reason for the census?
Yeah, exactly. Right now, that's not even our concern.
Yeah.
We're picking up the pieces of a disastrous century. It's just not our concern right now. Orthodox Traditionalist Publications says, I did an interview with Bishop Ambrose on my channel. He did, and from what I understand, it was very good.
Yes.
God save us, and the Arians said they weren't Arians. That's exactly the point. Heretics will always deny they are what you accuse them of.
I think the Father Andrew interview is my favorite so far.
It was mine too.
It was a great interview.
That was riveting. That's really riveting. I think Father Joseph said it was riveting. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hung on it with every word.
I gave a lot of perspective.
Seraphim. So is Paisios a saint or not? I'm asking this because of the letter of Elder Saba regarding ecumenism and commemoration of Patriarch Demetrius that Paisios participated. O and F from 2. We would say no, he's not, because we don't recognize the authority of the ecumenical patriarch. It makes sense. Jonathan Britt says, Father John Whiteford, when are you planning to join a True Orthodox Synod? Waiting for the new crew, Nicaea 2025. Jonathan Britt says, Orthodox Traditionalist Publications. Another good interview idea. Father Basil Willow, who lives down under. Not sure who that is, but I don't think I've spoken to him. Sarah says, yep, it's on his channel. Okay. Orthodox Traditionalist Jay Britt. I don't know him. Yep, I don't either. Sunrise, HTM Boston sells sweetbread now. Yeah, I noticed with the kind of Georgian thing that they're doing now, they sell sweetbreads.
Well, they keep changing their text and nobody wants to buy it, so now they guys want to sell sweetbread.
Yeah. Once they started ruining their own text.
They just had a pilgrimage to Georgia, which some of their hierarchs went to. I don't think the sweetbread thing has anything to do with changing text. I just think it's
it's a way to make money.
It's a business.
Yeah. Let's see.
Monasteries sell things like that. That's true in any monastery. I mean, not any, but
you won't see me defending hotness. Sorry, but
yeah. Jonathan, Father John Whiteford says, Jonathan Britt, I'm waiting for the True Orthodox Synods to join us. We ain't going near Moscow. We actually I still remember there was I don't know if you know about this, Father John, but there was a delegation of people in the Moscow Patriarchate. They sent a couple of bishops to Greece. It was during the whole Constantinople, Russia, Moscow schism.
Well, yeah, they wanted leverage.
Yeah, and they tried to talk to different True Orthodox, including, as I understand it, the GOC under Archbishop Kalinikos, and they literally just said to them, well, we're so glad to see that you've repented of your ecumenism, right? And when they couldn't answer that, they had to satisfy themselves by taking some desperate independent old calendarist bishop who was by himself, and then the other one went with the Kiev Patriarchate or something. So, yeah, I don't think that I think that it's unlikely that we would do that without massive change in the Moscow Patriarchate, including repentance, cleansing.
Well, they would have to repent.
Yeah, repenting of Sergianism. It's not going to be.
Because I'm pretty sure a quote unquote canonical Patriarch of Moscow is one that's not been a KGB agent.
Yeah,
you would think so.
Well, I mean, but Father John knows this already. Like, I feel stupid lecturing him on Agent Mikhailov. He already knows.
Well, besides that, I mean, what is the status of Sergius in their patriarchy right now?
Yeah, exactly. Like they're getting closer to glorifying him. My namesake's not glorified. How can I go into a church that doesn't glorify my namesake?
I could think of one sainted incorrupt metropolitan of Rokor that would be turning over.
Yeah, exactly. And they handed him his vestments after the union was completed. That was actually the first thing they gave them. They gave him Metropolitan St. Philaret's vestments, like a sacrifice. Yeah. I was like, what the heck? Why would they do that? But Jonathan Britt says, Father Basil Willow knew Father Seraphim, Father Herman personally, studied under them in Platina, and is now in the GOCK. Okay, so I guess, that's something to consider there. Orthodox Traditionalist publication. Maybe I'll just say Subdeaconic Taurus because it's so much shorter.
OTP.
I have a difficult question.
Sure,
difficult for me, maybe not so difficult for you, Father. But in the hypothetical scenario that the only true Orthodox parish that I had near me was Hockna, should I still avoid that?
It is very hard for me to recommend Hockna.
That's actually not the case for me, but I would just a question I had.
Yeah, I would say it would take me a lot to say that would even be acceptable.
That would be like forgive the example, but
Gregory
that'd be
Colorado?
No. That'd be like telling somebody that's been abused by somebody in their family, oh, just go back to your family. See what I'm saying? Why would you send somebody to someone you know?
I can't.
Who has spiritual abuse?
Is the abuse more from the late Abbot Pantaleimon, or is it just endemic
that's
to the
physical
whole
abuse?
Synod?
I'm talking spiritual abuse.
Right. Like, in other words, like if there are things like heresies, etc., that are plaguing this particular group, it would be dangerous for me to recommend it. Just like it would be dangerous for me to recommend Roman Catholics.
And the disciples of Pantaleimon took over for him. You don't think they have the same ideology?
Well, to be fair, I've been in their Telegram for a while, just like lurking, and I'm not seeing anything weird about the name of God. I'm
sure that happens in internal conversations.
I'm not seeing anything weird about.
Well, one thing you have to understand.
The name.
Yeah, but one thing you have to understand about Hockna, and I can attest to this, and I'm sure that many of the people in the GOC who were part of Hockna can attest to this. Hockna is when it came to electronic communications, Hockna is a layered society, and what people saw in public was not the same as what people saw if they were on the accepted level, the priestly level. There were levels, and the highest level is those who were around.
It's like Mormonism.
Almost like there's some prideful esoteric secret behind everything there.
Right. So the point is that what you're seeing in the Telegram chat for public consumption is very intentionally for public consumption.
Very scrubbed, very clean.
Wow. If that's how it is, then I would steer clear for sure.
We're old timers.
You guys have experience. I do not.
Yeah, I was literally baptized in Hockna. My priest was in Hockna. He's in the GOC right now. I'm in the Metropolitan, but neither of us wants to be around Hockna.
So as far as so-called true Orthodox groups to avoid, you've got Hockna and you've got Gregory of Colorado,
who are very similar. Is that it?
Well, there's those independent vagant groups. They call themselves true Orthodox.
But those aren't even true. They aren't.
I know that.
They're not even part of the branch. They're just those people are just skinwalkers.
I understand that.
Yeah, that doesn't count. They don't count.
Yeah, but they still put the title on, is what I'm saying. They put the cloak on.
Yeah, and there are people. I saw one of those today. There's a genuine Orthodox Church of Antioch that I saw listed, and that was hilarious. We actually know who the guy that started it is, because he came and applied to us after he came and applied to the Kirikites. Neither of them gave him what he wanted. He had originally come from some independent group. One of these one of these Vagante groups, but also they were big scammers. Like there were news articles about how they scammed people, and he came from them. And so I guess after we asked for ID and some basic understanding of where he came from, we realized that the Karakites, it's not even clear that they tonsured him. So I was like, now he's claiming to be a metropolitan, and
so kind of like Rokor MP had to deal with that Bondi character.
Yeah, and so we realized we were like, no, this isn't going to work. We actually did try to tell him what we needed from him, but he stopped responding because I think he figured out that we weren't going to fall for the scam. Yeah. And so, but in any case, yeah. So I guess he's now created this genuine Orthodox Church of Antioch based on the fact that his Vagante apostolic succession comes from René Vilat, who had received orders from the Jacobites in the late 18th century.
Anyone who's connected with René Vilat is not Orthodox or true Orthodox in any way, shape,
that is correct. So that's why I say that's a skinwalker. That's somebody who's literally just putting on the name as a suit. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is terrible.
Yep. But that's the thing. People
sounds like
realize
a horror movie.
That's why I chose it. Let me see here. What do we have here? Okay. That's what we always have. So isn't Hockner involved with some LGBTQ stuff in their monasteries? To my knowledge, not for a long time, actually. An elder, the quote unquote elder Pantaleimon, supposedly confessed guilt of it.
Supported it.
Yeah, it wasn't supporting it. It was engaging in it. Yeah. Jonathan Britt claims to condemn surgery and accusation, yet commemorates a bishop of the WCC. Sunrise, message redacted. Orthodox Traditionalist Publications. J. Britt, their current Metropolitan Nicholas, allows Garch to serve in their DC Cathedral still too.
That's true.
And then he says, unlikely that the Metropolitan would allow that. What is your evidence? Tavis are not even part of the branch because there was great comment. Orthodox Traditionalist Publications. What's my evidence? LOL. St. John's DC live stream YouTube videos.
There's a video of that guy. Okay. Father Victor is literally
Father. I'm sorry if I'm butting in, but
no.
I've been thinking about your Avlona Synod, especially because the likeliest move I'm going to make from where I live now is to Ohio, and you directed me to a small parish.
Yeah, we have a parish in Columbus.
In Ohio.
There are two GOCK parishes in Ohio and one GOCA parish in Ohio. And there's Metropolitan Nicholas of Cincinnati. So
I'm not a big highway driver. So if it's the city of Columbus, that's the one. But
that's a GOCA. Yeah, that's Father Samuel Ray.
How does the Avlona Synod's ecclesiology differ from that of the GOCK?
The Avlona Synod's ecclesiology is best described as the ecclesiology of the Lamian Synod. Before the Macario Synod, the Lamian Synod was basically a resistance synod, but recognized that the GOCK was the largest synod, and they basically were they were separating for basically canonical anomalies. Unfortunately, a few years later, then they got it in that they needed to make another Archbishop of Athens. That was when Metropolitan Angelos left and asked Metropolitan Evlogius to help him make bishops, because their goal is not to make another Archbishop of Athens, but to try to figure out what to do about the one that exists already. So that's the difference.
There's still a Macarian Synod.
But the Macarian Synod has another Archbishop. Archbishop Macarios is a rival Archbishop of Athens. So you actually have two Archbishops of Athens.
The Avlona Synod is trying to... A Metropolitan leads their Synod. Yep. They're not going to make another Archbishop of Athens, is what he's saying.
Yeah. And so let me see.
You gotta feel pretty bad about there being so many splits, though.
I mean, it
throws a lot of confusion into it.
The way I look at it is this, and this is, if you can untrain yourself to think of the new calendarists as the church, because I never had that problem.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Then you realize that the Church of Greece is in a bit of a state of chaos, mostly okay. There are some conflicts, etc., and they are regional. Many of them are mostly regional in nature. But overall,
the synods talk to each other too.
Yeah, they're alive. They're alive and still professing orthodoxy. So that's how we see it. Let me see here. Where are we? With this, God save us that I heard World Court MP clergy. There's a lot of comments. Maybe I should just only read the super chats. No, I'm just kidding. Let me see here. Let's see. What is?
They have to be $5 and above to be read.
All right, Victor Patapa, Father Patrick Vicuso, and a new arrival priest from the USC serving liturgy with his own persecutors. Orthodox Traditions publication. Can you tell me the title of the blog in question? And what is the name of the group of Metropolitan Demetrius? That's the GOC under Archbishop Clinicos of Athens. Orthodox Traditions publication says blog Global Orthodoxy in Crisis. And then Nikolai Bauman says, hi, all our baptisms in the GOCK are scheduled for Saturday. Please pray for us. Well, glory to God. Many years on your baptism. Black Ortho Acolyte says, Father John Whiteford, what would be the proper justifications for bishops, laity, and the priests for breaking communion with their patriarch? Sunrise says, have you met Father Samuel in Columbus? I believe I've spoken to him once over the phone. I am not from Ohio. Nikolai Bauman says also, what does the HOTCA acronym mean? I believe it stands for Hellenic Orthodox Traditionalist Church in America, and it was more of a legal creation than it's actually like a jurisdictional title. Orthodox is cross.
Yeah, the size of a parish to me doesn't matter. Doesn't.
Huh?
That's not even on my radar. I was only referring to the fact that the Columbus, Ohio parish does not appear to be a large parish, but I don't care. I'm trying to.
It's more a confession of faith.
I'm trying to get with a hierarchy that doesn't embrace the WCC, and small or large parish, that is not the issue.
Yeah. God save us says Macarian Synod and Clinical Synod have the same ecclesiology. They do now. And that is because now they have two archbishops.
There's going to be a book about that.
Yeah. People writing it,
The Macarians, they don't have anything to do with name worship, do they? They mistakenly thought, okay, that's fine.
He was asking if the Macarian Synod has anything to do with name worship.
They kind of waffled on it because of Hockner's influence, but then basically they just turned around and said, nope, this is a condemned heresy, and they used that as kind of a pretext to kind of not only break with Hockner, but take in Archbishop Macarius of Toronto. Let me see here. Jonathan Britt says, many years, Nikolai. Orthodox Traditions publication says St. John in D.C. was even allowing Viscuso to do proscomedia and do confession for the laity. My friend still goes there and was told by Father Damien that Metropolitan Nicholas blessed him to serve. Sunrise says, I'm interested in visiting the GOCA parish in Columbus too, hopefully soon. Well, glory to God. Maybe, let's build up the parishes we've got on the country. Let's do this. Let me see here. And I don't know what this is. All right. So we have been going on now. We are on the 30-minute mark of the second hour. And so we've had some interesting technical experiences. I think we can all agree there. And so I'm going to give it about 15 more minutes. And then we're going to take a break. Now, I should mention there is a very good possibility. There's a very good possibility that I will not do a stream next week. And the reason for this is I'm just going to flat out say it. I'm exhausted. We have a backlog of live Q&As where I have not taken out questions. I've not taken out shorts. I've not taken out topics that we've already covered so that they're being covered again. I wanted to take some time to do that. I have a book to work on, which thanks to support, I believe I'll be able to get through the month on, and hopefully have that ready by the end of the month, God willing. And as I mentioned, I have a debate on the 26th, and I might have another debate. I might have another discussion. I don't know. What I do know is that I have enough material here where I could be producing independently made and titled and subjected videos for the next I mean, in all honesty, I could probably do that for the next 5 months. I'm not going to, obviously, but the point is, that's how far backlogged I am. And so I may take either next week or the 17th off, or the 24th off. One of those might be the 24th just because of the debate. I doubt it, though, because I'm not really that worried. But I am tired. So, but there's a lot to do. Let me check again to see if we have questions. Again, we're in those last 15 minutes, so if people want to throw in those questions, please do. Okay. Black Ortho Acolyte. Since it always pops up on Twitter, what is the Orthodox stance on race mixing in view of the old calendarists? There's no fundamental difference. The Council of 1872 is valid. We do, Philitism is wrong. Not going to sit here and say there are no racists in true Orthodoxy.
Yeah, there's one Christian race if you're worried about it.
Yeah, there's the Christian race is the race of the Orthodox. That's what we teach in the services.
Nationalism kind of crept in. It wasn't the original thing.
Yeah. And it's a difficult kind of position that you find yourself in. And it's hard for everyone. It's hard for, it's just the racial question is one that has been a pain. It has caused me personal problems and issues.
Well, if you look at the lives of the saints, though, when it mentions the parents, sometimes it said, well, this one parent was Jewish and the other one was Greek.
Yeah.
For them back then, that would have been like unheard of. But you know what? It happened. Because at the end of the day, it's one Christian race. It's not your nationality.
Yeah, you see, Ortho Just says, would you rather be in the wilderness with atheist white people or in the wild with Orthodox mixed people of all races, Orthodox people all day? Yeah, because Orthodox people would be civilized. I mean, I hate to say that, but if you give an atheist society enough time, it becomes savage. We've seen that.
But then again, atheists talk about God more than some Christians. You never know.
Yes, because they hate him. I don't believe in God, and I hate him. That's kind of their attitude. But etc. Let's see here. So yeah, we've got 11 minutes. So if you have your question, let me see. Oh, Daniel Langlois asks, you mentioned not starting with the hardest book. So what is a good book to read after one finishes their catechumen book? There's quite a few good books to read. What I would recommend, I don't know whose audio is getting kind of janky there, but what I would recommend, Daniel, is, I hope it's not mine, but in any case, I don't think it is. I haven't changed any of the settings. What I would recommend, Daniel, wow, it's weird. It comes on as soon as I say what I'm going to recommend. So what I would recommend there, I don't know. Anyway, is I would recommend the book. Okay, I'm gonna mute everyone else in the chat if you don't mind. Give me a sec. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Until I figure out who the sound is. To answer that question, you want to start with things like the commentaries of St. John Chrysostom as well as St. Augustine. I will give Reader John an ascended time Reader John, because I think you're Orthodox. Ascender needs to be received. But use the commentaries of the fathers, St. John Chrysostom, St. Augustine, St. Theophylact. There's a great deal of stuff you can find just on the early church fathers. It's great stuff to read. I highly recommend that. Okay, now let's get the noise back and see if we can figure that one out. All right, so I'm going to ask you to unmute, and I'm going to ask you to unmute. Okay, and let me see if any guys you can unmute. So please unmute. Okay, Reader John, you're still muted. Okay, he's still muted. Okay, so let me see here. Let's see what we've got here. Seraphim, that I saw Gregory of Denver talk about Cyprian and how he had a cursed death. Then I saw the group of Metropolitan Demetrius call Cyprian His Holiness. Is Cyprian true Orthodox or not? Cyprian is a controversial question. However, I would not buy anything about what Gregory of Denver says about his death. Yeah, I don't want to.
There's creepy looking photos of his death, but
yeah, well, his mouth being open, unfortunately. If I remember correctly, he was in a hospital bed and he was connected to something that was in his throat. So his mouth would have been open. And if he died with that, it's very possible that he got rigor mortis in that way because of the equipment. That doesn't mean that, he's cursed or anything. So
and I mean, Gregory of Colorado was also saying that Bishop Pavlos of Astoria got paralyzed due to the fact that he slandered him. I'm like, are you God? Do you know that?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a bold thing to say.
Yeah. Black Horse Acolyte says, I don't want to deal with all the racial idolatry with people who are supposed to be our brothers and sisters. I mean, I hate to say it, but first off, there aren't that many, compared. Most of those people are still happy in world orthodoxy. So take advantage of it while things, the dam has not fully broken and people haven't completely left. Let me see here. It's quiet. Can you not hear anything I'm saying then? Give me 1 second. Hold on. I am concerned now. Hold on. Can y'all hear? I'm just going to ask real quick. Let me check this. Okay. Okay, for some reason. Okay. It was muted earlier. Okay, so it is fixed. Gubbanubnubdoraka. Okay. I'm recovering non-denom inquiry and find this subject really dense and even difficult to approach. There's so much of it, it's really confusing. How does one begin to even approach it for understanding? That's why I am writing the history that I am. It will be very easy to approach. It will help you understand the reality of orthodoxy in the world today, and you'll be able to tell the difference between the marketing that you hear from people like the Ecumenical Patriarchate versus the reality of true orthodoxy in the millions throughout the world today. So don't worry.
You hear me now?
Yep, I hear you now, Reader.
Oh, goodness gracious, that was a pain.
Okay.
I was wondering what happened, but anyway.
Technical difficulties.
As always.
I was going to refer a book, Struggle for Virtue.
Yeah. I haven't decided on the title, but okay. So we're at 1:40. So you got 5 minutes, folks, if you want to ask your last questions. We're going to start closing out. Again, I'd like to say thank you to those who donated. It is very much appreciated. As some of you may have heard, we have a whole new problem expense with the car. There's good news and bad news. The good news is it could be the radiator. The bad news is it could be the engine. There's a very big difference in price between the radiator and the engine. So God willing, it's the radiator. But we'll see, or something even simpler that somehow I missed. But in any case, let's see here. Not much else to touch on here. again, it's where this is what we do, and we're closing out. It's been an hour and 45 minutes. Gonna check one more time to see if there's any. Let me see here. Oh, hey, thank you, Black Ortho Acolyte. Another $9.99 for the engine fund. I really appreciate it. Glory to God. Thank you.
Hopefully, radiator fund.
Father John Whiteford, Black Ortho Acolyte, preaching heresy bareheaded in the church. That's the reason. Now, the debate is whether that's already happening, and we would say it is, and has been for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel Engler, is there a way to determine if a clergy has lost grace? Like, is it when he says something heretical just one time, or when he does something, and can it be backed up by an authoritative source like a counselor church father? I think when people start asking the question about lost grace, they're missing the point. If you know that your clergyman, your priest is saying heretical stuff, it's your job to report him to the bishop. And if the bishop isn't going to do anything, then it's your job to find a bishop who will preserve the faith.
It's that age-old debate of, is it a light switch or does it take time?
Exactly. Black Sheep says, bless Father question, may God bless you. If you're not married in the Orthodox faith, that means you're living in fornication and not recognized by our Lord. Correct. That's a very extreme way to put it. If you're not, first off, are you saying two true Orthodox Christians in good standing just decided not to get married and just fornicate? I've found that that's very rarely the case. Because if you do have two people who are baptized Orthodox Christians who want to live together, etc., they're usually really okay with getting married.
Are you talking about a civil marriage where one of the people is looking into true Orthodoxy?
That's a whole different scenario, because at that point you're talking about a civil marriage, tolerance of the other stuff, etc. There's all sorts of questions. So I can't answer that so simply. I'd have to know the background.
That's a little more,
yeah. Seraphim says, can you please pray for me and my family and all the faithful in Kenya? Like you said, Kenya is a free place for these apostates to work their work, so the people are scandalized by them. But it sounds like there's a lot of true Orthodox ready to help you there, so glory to God. You are in our prayers, Seraphim, and your family, for your success in your mission. Orthodox Traditionalist Publication says, did you talk about Patriarch Kirill preaching evolutionism a few weeks ago? I don't think I did. I know that
there's video of it.
Yeah, it's video of it. So that is
that's a thing.
Yep, that is a thing we can talk about. He was on Russian state TV talking to various science women about his views on evolution, how they totally work with the church.
I think the troubling part was that he said evolution is part of the divine plan.
Yeah, indeed. It's pretty sad.
Does Hawkeye also say evolutionism is true?
Hockna actually does teach evolutionism. They're renovationists from the right. And Father John Whiteford noted that. He said, I don't get to often chat with Patrick Kirill. Hockna used to teach that creationism was Protestantism. I don't agree with that. You're absolutely right. In this case, Hockna and Patrick Kirill are in complete agreement on evolution. And so, yeah, that's...
Most true Orthodox synods have condemned what they call Darwinism.
Yeah. Father John Whiteford says, but I'm not sure that affirming evolution on some level is a council condemned heresy either. No, I'm not saying that, but it is kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Throwing away the traditional. Yeah, we don't. If there's already ample evidence in the tradition of the church of a proper way to believe on the Book of Genesis, which we know there is.
Say what you will about Archbishop Gregory of Colorado, but his group is actually. I don't know if you've seen it as a couple of articles where they just give all the patristic quotes about what the fathers actually say.
Daniel Langlois sends another sticker. Thank you very much for $10. Really appreciate that. What were you saying that he what?
Have you
about Gregory?
Are you familiar with his group's articles about the evolutionism and Darwinism and creation and Genesis?
What is? No, I'm not. Did he? I assume he. I don't know what he believes. Is he pro?
It's largely the same take as Father Seraphim Rose's Genesis, Creation, and Early Man.
Oh, good. Okay, so he's so at least you didn't get that wrong.
No, his group is not. is not evolutionist.
Well, that's good. I mean, the problem is that when you're dealing with people who have this many problems with orthodoxy, and you're like, well, this one has one less here, but this one has one less here, but you're denying dogmas and teachings of the church and the tradition so much. It's just something that it should stay away with.
Who was Father Sarah from writing that against? It was
that was against
Calamirus, right?
Calamiros.
Yeah.
Alexander Calamiros,
Yep.
whose book Against False Union is amazingly good, but then he's also
the
an
Six
evolutionist.
Dawns. Yeah, but the Six Dawns was terrible.
Yeah.
It's the Six Dawns.
That's where he labels his evolutionary view. Father John Whiteford on very much. Daniel Langlois, that was for the engine. Not sure how to get rid of the funny character. I don't mind. It's a level up character. I love it. I'm happy that people have been helping, and I really appreciate that.
Hopefully it's the radiator.
Hopefully it's the radiator. God says Hockman has a lot of other weird teachings. Yes, they do. Orthodox, have a good night, everyone. Orthodox Traditionalist Publications. Is your membership in the WCC a non sequitur for you too? Lazarus Zalnir says, good morning, Father. I feel so bad. We're actually kind of winding up to leave. In any case, I would
3-hour stream.
Well, no, we're not. I don't think we're going to even make 2 hours. I'm exhausted. But yeah, I know that there's been talk with Patrick Julia and with Father John to have another stream with me on. I'd love to have Subdeacon Victorios on. If not, I want to find maybe even have Reader John here come on. But I'd like it to be a 2-on-2 discussion, which I think was good. Father John Whiteford was a fully vested Anglican bishop at the consecration of Metropolitan Italia Ecumenism. Orthodox Traditionalist Publications were ROCOR observers at Vatican II Ecumenism. That's an interesting question, but there's first off the Anglican bishop. I've heard that one before, but I'd let him answer that. As for ROCOR observers at Vatican II, they were there. They left. There was Metropolitan Anastasi was also at the quote unquote Pan-Orthodox Synod of 1923, but he left because there was no practical purpose to being there. What I will say was ecumenism was writing books trying to explain how we would have papal primacy and orthodoxy, like actual World Orthodox delegates to Vatican II did. Esoterica 77, signing actual WCG documents into community documents with Catholics is totally different than a bishop being present in a service. That's actually true. Very true. Lazarus Zelenir, will true Orthodoxy ever thrive in Norway and Iceland, Father? That is up to the people who are there. You need to kind of assess that.
That's the thing. Like people, why it's thriving in Africa is because the people rose up in Africa to make it happen.
Yep. Now,
you have our prayers.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Father John Whiteford says Orthodox Traditional Publications, the Russian Church forced the WCC to change its charter. But how, Father? That's the point. Yes, the Russian Church forced the WCC to change its charter. Nobody is denying that. But when you look at what the actual changes that were made, they are not actually changes that separate the Russian Church.
Yeah, because everybody that's part of the WCC has to affirm.
Exactly. They're not released from those affirmations. I mean, so we're talking about an organizational issue.
Yeah, I mean, we can split hairs all day, but at the end of the day, if you're part of the WCC, part of the charter is you have to affirm what the WCC promulgates.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly. Orthodox Traditionalist Publication has 2 random and rare examples going to wash away the WCC issue. God save us, Father John, when everyone was friends with Anglicans back then because the Anglicans were interested in Orthodoxy. Worth noting, the Anglicans have been interested in Orthodoxy for a long time, and not always in a good way. That will be part of my books, which I will be working on.
Father John, since you're here this stream, somebody last stream called you staunch ideologue. Are you staunch or an ideologue or both? Inquirers want to know.
All right. Let's see here. Was Sergianism not a heresy? They call him a confessor. That is true. That was quoted. Did they withdraw their signature from the Porto Alegre statement? You see here, the WCC is no longer unable to issue statements that everyone doesn't agree with, and no longer has interconfessional worship because of changes the ROC forced them to make. Yeah, but the Moscow Patriarchate is involved in interconfessional worship anyway. Like, that's still happening.
It's this distinction without a difference.
Yeah.
Literally, that's a definite difference.
Yeah. They're still at WCC meetings that have prayers in them, and they're participating in them. So
it's condemned by Orthodoxy, isn't it?
Got an interesting story about India. That's the new thing. Right now, the MP's representative is in India for, the DECR representative.
Malankara. Yes.
Yeah, among the Malankaras, celebrating their monophysite saint. And that's all on their website. That's yesterday. Let me see here. Orthodox Traditions Publication.
It's just a.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I have to vent a little bit, but they're always saying it's just an issue of people misunderstanding each other's language, and I'm just like, well, if you believe
as the canes came further down the road,
are led by the Holy Spirit, what room is there for such a misunderstanding?
Yeah,
especially one that's.
We need to fix our own problems, like
it's lasted 1,500 plus years.
Yeah, we need to fix our own problems, like the true Orthodox need the world Orthodox to repent and come hang out with us.
Yep. Let me see here. EP goes in heresy. We the MP must enter heresy with them. Sounds logical. Esoterica 77. Did they retract the Jubilee Council? Did they retract the Havana document? I would add. Daniel Langlois, what's the largest parish cathedral the True Orthodox have that you know of? I can't even answer that question. First off, they wouldn't be in America. The largest Greek True Orthodox church is in Greece. I don't know. I would say probably. I'm thinking possibly in Sofia, because they have there are some gigantic churches in Bulgaria and Romania. Yeah. And in Greece has, you'll see services.
Yeah, their cathedrals are kind
of people.
But they look like parishes. Yeah, you're right.
They're wild in Romania and Bulgaria.
Yeah,
there's a lot, and Russia as well.
How about the Free Serbian Church?
The Free Serbs. Well, most Free Serbs are outside Serbia. So some of them are pretty big. I think I saw in Australia they look pretty big.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Okay, so Father John is still arguing with Subdeacon Nectarios. Really, I kind of wish that we could hash this out on a stream.
Yeah, but it's gonna go around.
Not this stream.
I haven't been watching the conversation that's on.
Well, I have to. It's a large. It's a live Q&A. It's a lot. Go ahead.
I can't help but notice that Father John doesn't make any argument that makes me want to reconsider world orthodoxy.
Okay.
He just, I don't know.
He doesn't make a cogent argument, is what you're saying.
He doesn't make a cogent argument for world orthodoxy. I'm not seeing that.
He's trying to.
I think he's trying to
questions in the chat.
Yeah, really, I think he's going back and forth with the
Subdeacon Nectarios. He's not aiming to make.
I don't think he's trying to. Yeah,
he's not aiming for like a presentation.
I'm still waiting for that answer for Staunch.
Props to him for even coming into the chat or most.
Oh, he's been here before. He's been here. He's been here for about a month now.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
Yeah.
Okay, the church recognizing the other member churches elements of the true. Okay, that's a quote from their Reconquista Orthodox. Can someone explain the Holy Fire to me? How is that possible for world Orthodoxy? The Holy Fire is miraculous. We have talked about the Holy Fire in the past, and that just means I have to access those videos, which is part of the reason why I want to take some time to do some.
Well, I guess the question would be, why does the Holy Fire descend upon true Orthodox and light their candles outside of the patriarch?
Yep. Yeah. So, and that has happened.
My understanding is not because of the patriarch or for the patriarch, but in spite of the patriarch.
Yeah, exactly.
My understanding is it's for Jerusalem, for the people of Jerusalem.
Actual Orthodox around the world.
Yeah.
For the piety.
I don't know that
people
in Jerusalem. I don't think there's actually any true Orthodox. I don't think that could possibly take hold there.
There are. There's already a couple of mission parishes that are there.
Yeah.
Because ever since the whole area. Thoughts on Elder Gabriel of Georgia? No, there's no thoughts on that. I talk about him almost, I think, 3 or 4 times. I will eventually get to a recording on it. I would say that the Fool for Christ Gennady Sakach has a better story. It's very similar to Elder Gabriel's, except he didn't bow down to Patrick Leah. And that was Ecumenist Patriarch Leah. Let me see. Gentlemen, Britain making steps to leave the Roquan P. Is there true Orthodoxy in Ukraine? Yes, there is, but it is not a true Orthodox Ukrainian church. It's scattered. Ukraine is Ukraine. It's a complicated mess.
Isn't Metropolitan Agafongo in Ukraine?
Metropolitan Agafongo is in Ukraine, but he represents the Russian Church abroad. So, and there are other ROCOR parishes and groups, continuing ROCOR parishes and groups that are in Ukraine, but the Zelensky government considers them pro-Russian threats. So, ironically, they went from being accused of being CIA by Moscow to KG to FSB by Ukraine. So,
I don't think they're anything of the sort.
No, but the whole point is the accusation is just
Yeah, they're getting caught in the middle of the geopolitics.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Old Calendar Zealots says I have a video on the Holy Fire. Yeah. Father John, can we see?
And we're back.
We're back. Okay. So it is. Let me see here. Okay, I'm gonna try. First up. I don't even know what is happening here. It's the chat is an absolute mess.
It's on fire.
It's on fire. Is there a way we can get video there? I have no idea. I would have maybe Wasner or Death to Compromise can help with that. What the old counters all consider themselves part of their own micro ecumenical world. Well, I mean, it's not that micro. There are millions of people throughout the world, but it's not ecumenical.
It's more of a polemic from the World Orthodox.
They just like saying things that
it's like
John, let me put it this way: using the term Old Calendar Ecumenist, which was made up by the Matthewites in a very, very different context, is just disingenuous here. It's not smart. It looks bad.
It's like a Roman Catholic apologist talking to an Orthodox saying, well, because we have more numbers than you do.
Yeah, Maroon Blue. Father Swaden, thoughts on presidential candidates not to attending the Al Smith charity dinner. Is this disrespectful? We're part of your world. Lazarus Zalanir, Father Joseph, I'm struggling. I live in Norway, and I ask, will true Orthodoxy thrive there in Iceland, my native home? I'm considering submitting to Bishop John of Melbourne of ROCA. If you can reach out to him and you're having a discussion with him, I have no problem with it. There are pictures of the fully vested Anglican bishop at the consecration of Metropolitan Vitaly. Curiously, where did he vest? I am curious as to how
did he have a blessing?
Did he have a blessing? Did he walk in fully vested? These are the questions we want to. Are you saying
for example,
they vested him in the center of the church, Father John?
For example, there's a Serbian bishop that was at the glorification of St. John.
Yep.
That didn't have permission to be there, but he was there anyway, wasn't he?
Yep.
Doesn't make it ecumenical.
God save us, Father John. You know, Vladika Vitali was a zealot. I'm half and half on that. Okay, redacted. Okay,
Cyprianism still a problem?
Hold on. Can you hold on? Relax there, Ascender. Record Keys says a GOC bishop in a recent video said toll houses are not part of the Orthodox tradition. What's his name? All right, go ahead, Ascender.
I was just going to ask, after the official termination of, or not termination, but union with the GOCK, does the GOCK still have Cyprianites in it? I know that this is a major thing for true Orthodox who are not with the GOCK.
This has been a major source of drama, but if you read the union, if you actually read the documents, they're not. Supposedly, there is no more Cyprianism.
So it's a polemical hobby horse. It really is.
Well, does that same document not say that we don't say whether the World Orthodox have grace anymore.
No, it does not say that at all. It says quite the opposite.
Didn't Bishop Auxentius release a statement?
Bishop Auxentius even released a statement saying, "I'm so glad we signed this document because our position is so much clearer now."
Yep.
Let me see here. Sunrise says, "Pretty sure Reconquista is talking about Gregory, Colorado." Wouldn't surprise me one bit. That's exactly who I thought he was talking about.
Who's that?
The
No, I just.
Father John Whiteford, ideology is contrary to traditional thinking. Chris Dabrowski, do you think true orthodoxy will thrive in Iceland is not really an answerable question.
So what he's telling me is he's just staunch, like I said last week.
Orthodox Traditionalist Publications, the spin to justify being a member of the WCC in 2024 is amazing. God Save His whole drama about Cypriots is just polemical. Lazarus Zolinier says, I see. Chris Dabrowski says, Orthodox Traditionalist Publications is the Patriarchates join the WCC ex cathedra. Okay. Yeah, Reconquista Orthodox GOC America. That's Gregory, Colorado. Don't waste your time with him. Okay, so we are now 3 minutes in to the third hour, and that is, I think, where I am going to cut it off because I'm exhausted. One of these weeks I may take off. I will let you guys know, but I'm going to try to be here for the next few weeks. Meanwhile, I will say this: I don't know what
riots next week, so you might want to take off.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to be happening next week. We really don't. We can't speak to the future.
I have no idea.
What I will say is maybe we might try Restream again, although it doesn't seem to work well for guests. I may just try free StreamYard, but that only allows 2 guests.
On Restream, if you have an iOS device, it works fine. But if you have Android, it does not.
I'll remember that. Lazaroons, good night, Father Joseph. I'll now do my morning prayers. God bless you. Seraphim, he's kind of deluded. Yes, he is. Reconquista Orthodoxy, are they in communion with true Orthodoxy? No, they're not in communion with anybody. They are not in communion with anybody. Seraphim, no, he's definitely Delulu. Yeah.
I like that one. I'm going to steal that. Delulu.
Stay away from Gregory. And Cole says, John, yes. Dimitri, there's a lot to say about Gregory. Are you in the Discord? And yeah, exactly. Chris Dabrowski says every other true Orthodox group agrees Gregory of Denver is no bueno. Seraphim says everyone stay away from
that was
Gregory.
ecumenical.
Yeah, that's true. I would say that the one thing that people are like, true Orthodox are so divided. Without formal union, the entire true Orthodox world formally agreed that Gregory of Colorado is not with them. So that's pretty impressive. But that was accomplished back in 2010. So greater things have since occurred. All right. In that case, what I am going to say here, real quick, give me just a moment, and I'm just going to say here, I want to thank you to everyone, to our guests, to Ascender, to Reader John, to our listeners, to especially to Daniel Engloy and Black Earth Acolyte for those 2 sets of donations. Thank you so much for your generosity and for your help. To those who asked questions and those that had comments, to our listeners, to those who support our mission. And how can you do that? Support the channel. We at NFT need your help. Support us by subscribing or donating at nftu.net. On the bottom, there are different ways you can subscribe and you can assist and donate. You can also help on GiveSendGo or on Odyssey. We remember all of you in our prayers, and thank you for all the support for NFTU. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe if this helped you. In that case, have a good night, everyone. Through the prayers of Holy Fathers, for Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy on us and save us.
Amen.
I am going to try to press a button and end the stream. Okay. I have now ended it on this end.